Alright, so this is day one of our Nagoya trip and we're getting ready to take off. Here's the car. Got it all loaded up. And got the GPS all set. My wife is in the back. Say hi, Kari.
Hi, she's drinking milk.
She's drinking milk. I didn't get your boobs, right?
No.
Alright, good. I don't want any boob shots on my show. I have nothing against breastfeeding, obviously. That's why I don't mind putting on her, but she doesn't want her boobs on the internet. Either way, I guess we're gonna be taking off, and this starts our first clip for day one of trip to Nagoya.
Say something.
Alright, so you're looking over at the Shiga Mountains on the left side. It's a little different from the mountains nearby area. I want to say that these trees are like a brighter green and a lot taller. I know you probably can't see past that fence at this point, but yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, this is the Shiga area. Nagoya is actually in Aichi Prefecture. Aichi Prefecture, which is a different prefecture. Again, to clarify what a prefecture is, it's similar to what in America we would call. Right now we're driving and we're about to get to the Nagoya station. And if you look to the left right here, you'll see a shrine. And we're about 700 meters from the station. If you take a look outside the window, you can see all these huge buildings. Well, they're huge to me because I came from San Diego. There's only a few big buildings like that in San Diego. And that's the city of Nagoya. We'll show you some more footage in a few more clips. See ya. So here we are at the restaurant. Restaurant. And then, 名前何ですか? Waraji tonkatsu. That's what this place is famous for. Oh, and there's, hi, say hi, Marina. Hi, Martha. This is gonna be on YouTube later. There you go. Hi, Angelo. We're all gonna get some lunch now here in Nagoya. So here we go. All right, so right now they're gonna put on some sauce, their specialty miso sauce. And there it goes. This is the special miso, the Nagoya miso sauce they put on the tonkatsu. Ooh, that looks good. That looks really good. So yeah, and they have really good, and then they have the different peppers right here, and we're gonna set up, and as soon as I take my first bite, get the next clip. So the tonkatsu is dipped in a special sauce, and if you look here, it's nice and marinated in it, really juicy. Of course it comes with some miso soup and some rice. Time to get my grub on. That's really good. So Nagoya is famous for their dark, sweet miso. And yesterday, as you remember, I had that tonkatsu with the miso, and today I'm having this like beef and miso with it's like a beef stew with some rice for breakfast. That's so if I go over here, see a good shot of it. It's a really dark color. You can get more under the light. Yeah. As you can see, it's a very dark color. Yeah, very good. All right, gonna try some. 上手だね。It's really good. 美味しい. So, if you follow my Snapchat, you probably already got this shot, but I thought I'd throw it into the day 2 part of my trip anyway. There's this beautiful chapel where they have weddings. I'm not going to record too much because I'm sure a guy holding a camcorder from a hotel window looks very bad. But I also want to get a nice panoramic view of Nagoya City from here from my hotel room. Really great view of the whole city. We'll zoom in over here and get some of the buildings. And yeah, really nice stay, really nice hotel. Right next to the train station. And stay tuned for the next few clips. We're going to be hitting up some historical landmarks soon. So, I'm on camera. So right now I'm in front of Nagoya Castle. Right here you can see the moat. And Nagoya Castle was constructed by the orders of Ieyasu Tokugawa in order to secure an important position between Tokaido Road to ward off attacks from the direction from Osaka. So the construction was completed in 1612 and it was restored again during the Meiji period. So as you can see over here, this is the moat. And if you follow me this way, and you look down over here, this used to be filled up with water to avoid attacks, so the samurai can only come in through one direction, and the rest of them can secure their position right here, firing arrows, and of course fighting with swords and all kinds of crazy medieval cool stuff that I love so much. So follow me and we're gonna go into Nagoya Castle next. So I just got here, and it looks like they have some sort of samurai show. Let's go check it out. Hopefully we didn't miss it. Here we go. Alright, well, no trip to Nagoya would be complete without a dancing samurai, right? Hope you enjoyed that show. So one of the things they're also famous for are a lot of these kind of like food vending spots. And this spot has hot dogs. And they even have like jumbo shrimp dogs. I don't even know what to call it. They call it a eburi furaya dogu, which is pretty much fried shrimp dog. Nagoya is actually famous for their fried shrimp as well. I'm not gonna have any at this food stand because we're gonna go to a restaurant for lunch. But right now I'm getting some shrimp ice cream for my wife and their family, and we'll get to see what that looks like in a sec. So I got my wife some peach ice cream, and if you look, they put milk and shaved ice and pieces of actual peach. They call it a momo ice. Alright, so kind of do a nice scoop real quick. We'll do a close-up of it. Oh, that's nice. Alright, take a nice big bite. Mmm, that looks really good. Momo ice, or peach and shaved ice with some condensed milk. So if you look here, this is Kiyomasa's stone pooling. It said that Kato Kiyomasa, a renowned samurai, was ordered to supervise the construction of the stone walls of Nagoya Castle. And the legend has it that he actually sat on this giant stone and gave the orders while building the actual castle and the walls. And if you look to my right over here, you can see some of the walls that he was commanding to be constructed. And here's another moat to defend against any samurai invaders. And if you follow me this way, you can still see some of the old walls here on the left. Get a look at some of this stuff. You know, one of the things that I think is really cool, and if you look right here, you can see a tree that's growing right in between the rock. And one of the things that, like I said earlier, always amazes me of Japan, right? This castle was constructed in 1612, right? So it's about over 400 years old. So it's really old. I mean, when you're looking at this stuff, you think about the U.S. being founded, or our history going back with the invasion of Puerto Rico by Columbus in 1492, and you start realizing that these places, we really don't have a lot of castles or foundations or buildings that are as old as what's out here, and I think that's one of the things I really love. So if you look this way, here's some of the walls that were built by that samurai I just mentioned, and another moat that goes all the way down that way. So why don't you follow me in? We're about to go inside the castle. So here we have the front second gate. It's one of the few structures that still exists from the original Nagoya Castle. In 1945, during World War II, much of Nagoya Castle was actually burned down during the actual war. So a lot of it was rebuilt after that, but this entrance in particular did not have to be rebuilt. It actually survived. It actually survived World War II, which is really amazing when you think about it. And here we have we're walking right in, and there's Marina and Masa going inside the gate here. And it's being supported by these giant, massive steel plates. But the construction behind it is all the original construction back from the 1600s, as I mentioned earlier. And here now we're walking in, and we're making our way inside the castle. So over here we have this is called the Kuramayose carriage entrance. This was the official entryway for high-ranking visitors to Homaru Palace. And if you look at the top, the roof has really nice golden embroidery in it. I'm going to try to zoom in on it so you can see some of the architecture here. It's really nice. You can see that golden emblem there that stands for the lord that owned this castle at the time. Of course, all of this was rebuilt because it got burnt down during the war, but it is still really beautiful. And the work and the craftsmanship that went into this is just amazing. So yeah, this was the entrance for high officials. Let's see what else we find. So we actually get to go inside the area that the high officials went into, and they told me I can do some videos, so here we go. Walking in here. You see the architecture inside. Again, all of this was rebuilt after the World War, but they did a great job of rebuilding the original part. As always, no shoes in the castle. So there we go. Make sure when you come in, you put your shoes in the locker, grab your key. Don't lose your key. And walk this way. So right now I'm one of the main places I mentioned earlier. And if we look over here, the castle was the Homara place was built in 1615, as I mentioned earlier. And the restoration actually began in 2009. And the main hall became open to the public in 2013. Here you have a lot of the wooden panels I was mentioning. And these wooden panels were made out of hinoki cypress. And if you look here, this is some of the original work. And the screen paintings were made by the Tokugawa shogunate. And the restoration are actually work replicas. But the construction methods and materials were preserved to try and stay the same, using the same concepts. Here's a map of the area. The entrance hall was the first building that people would come in through the palace, the Honmaru Palace, and the walls had these huge tigers on them. Everyone was really surprised to see these tigers as they would walk in. From there, the entryway was, like I mentioned earlier, was only for high-ranking officials, and the roof was actually one of the few ones that were made with this really beautiful architecture where it kind of curves to the top. So if you follow me this way, here we walk in. And mind you, all these are now replicas from the actual originals that first came out. Screen things that I was talking about earlier. They asked me not to do any flash photography, so I'm gonna try to stick to that rule. But I definitely have to get a photo of this. I can walk this way over here. These are the areas I was talking about here. And again, this is for the high-ranking officials. And these are replicas of what was actually around in the past. So here's a closer look of some of the screen paintings that they've made. And as you can see, they have some really beautiful tigers in it. And I really like the artwork here. Take a good look. I'm going off to the right. I can only imagine what the original ones look like from the 1600s, but these replicas are awesome. Really cool color of gold. Cool golden color. So here we have the Omote Shoin main hall. It was used to entertain the royal family's guests as they would come, and the raised floor is furthest from the lords, so that they kind of had a separation between the lords and their guests. It was their way of feeling above, being a part of a high society, if you will. This was some beautiful prints. Right on the left here. And here's the main entrance. Beautiful bonsai tree prints. And And if you can get here, I want to get a zoom in of what looks to be like a painting of a peacock and a sakura tree or a cherry blossom. And if you follow me this way, again, I really love the wood and how they did this. Interesting, my wife was talking about she finds it strange that a lot of these castles have really high-rise ceilings, and doors. But if you've ever seen some of the videos of my house, which I haven't done yet, but I will, it's totally the opposite. Tiny, really. I'm always hitting my head. But you know, this was just really amazing on how the architecture was. How big. This way you can see some of the entrances. Here's the other side of the other hall. And as you walk this way, you can look down and notice the tatami mats. And here's some more of the original boxes and artifacts that were saved after the war. They were maintained throughout the Edo period, and it was designed at a national. It was recognized as a national treasure. After the drawings were made and photographs taken, they actually survived the fires from the bombings in World War II, and were sent into a museum. So they're not kept here anymore. But see, these are some of the original artifacts that were saved from that fire I mentioned, and now they're kept in a national museum. The entire project of the restoration of the Homadu Palace actually finished in 2016. And they're actually planning on doing some more by 2018. So at first I was kind of worried that I brought my Crocs, and I know they're not very fashionable, but man, for going in and out of these palaces, they are really fucking convenient. So that was Homadu Palace. Right now we're going to work our way to the main castle, so stay tuned for the next clip. So I'm not sure, I'm sure I'm going to get more opportunities to get better shots of the castle, but I really wanted to catch this one right now. Go ahead and soak that in. And I'm not sure how much this camera can zoom, but you see that top part right there? Whoa, right there. You can see those golden, they say they're golden dolphins. And I'll talk a little more about the golden dolphins in a sec, but I just wanted you to see the originals, or the replicas on the top that they're using on the top of the castle here. So there's the whole castle. Just a really breathtaking view. Here's something that's never talked about, but that should be. This is a Western toilet. This is a Japanese toilet. If you find yourself screwed over at a Japanese toilet and you don't know what to do, don't make the mistake I did and face out. These toilets are meant for you to squat and face the wall while doing your business. Now the good news is that most places do have Western toilets. But you'll see here it says Japanese style. And then here it says Western style in kanji. If you are so unlucky enough to not have the wrong toilet, then you're screwed. Whatever you do, don't use the Western toilet like a Japanese toilet. There's a diagram if you need help. This concludes our how to use a toilet in Japan section. So here's a diagram of the castle. Here's the small donjon, and we are right now at the bottom of this thing here. There's 3 levels to the first entrance. Then next you work your way to the main donjon, or the main castle, which is right behind the first level. As you can see, there's 3 floors. I'm not sure what our plan is, but we're going to work our way around this and find our way to the top. So walk this way, and here's a list of the people that have donated to the castle. And here we go. Here's the entrance to the first donjon I was mentioning about. Here. You walk up these steps. And main entrance here. And right now we're in the first donjon. In the basement. Gaudi is amazed. Of course, this is all this whole building was restored because it was burned down during the World War.
Golden dolphin.
As I was saying earlier, when I was outside, I'm glad I got that shot.
And the same size.
These are the golden dolphins. Now, a little history on the golden dolphins. They kind of look like koi, right? Now, these are known as kinshachi, and it's said to be the first dolphins to be on the top of the actual castle when it was completed in the Muromachi era in between 1334 and 1400. And it's a symbol of the Lord's authority, the feudal lord that was in charge at the time. Even though Nagoya's golden dolphins shared the fate of the dungeon being consumed by the flames in the Second World War, they were able to be rebuilt in 1959 during the reconstruction of Nagoya Castle after World War II. So here's a well that they made back in the 1400s while they were building the castle. Eventually the water was contaminated and they needed to cover it up with rocks. A little after the World War. But here's where it originally stood and what it looks like. Here we have a small-scale model of what Nagoya Castle used to look like in the 1400s. As far as Nagoya itself, as you can see, there used to be a giant moat that would defend against enemies. Looking down, this is what feudal era Japan looked like in the past. They did a really good job at making a model to show you the old structures and how the architecture worked. And this, my friends, is what Nagoya looked like over 300 years ago. And here's some swords they found, or what's left of the actual blades. These swords are over 300 years old and are pretty rusted out from time. If you follow me this way, here's some of the original Buddha statues, and here's some aerial photography of the bombings. And here's the fire that consumed Nagoya Castle during World War II. Over here we have some sword replicas, which are always cool to see. Very nice katanas. Here's what they would refer to as a nigata, or a long sword. The nigata was actually used on top of a horse. They needed a very long sword to be able to attack their enemies while riding a horse. So this is mostly a cavalry sword. Here's the smaller dagger they used to call a tanto. A tanto was used not really for combat, but for a samurai when he would dishonor the feudal lord. He might have to complete senbiki. It was a ritual where they would gut themselves with this small dagger for dishonoring their lord. It was also considered that to commit this kind of honorable suicide would save your family from the dishonor of disrespecting the feudal lord of the area. And many times it would save your entire family, because if you were considered dishonorable or dishonorably discharged as a samurai, they would usually kill you and your whole family. So committing, not senpuki, harikiri kana? Committing harikiri would save your family from this dishonorable death. Senpuki is fan. I totally fucked that up. So walking over here, here's some of the original paintings. These paintings adorned the inside of Nagoya Castle and were saved during the after the World War.
We are walking wrong way.
Huh?
We walk the wrong way.
It's okay. And then here's some of the original golden prints. Earlier we were inside of the palace, and I told it all of it they were actual replicas, but these are the originals from over 400 years ago. Well, that's all for the entrance. I'm going to save some more footage for when we get to the main hall. So here we go. We're working our way up the steps to hit the main castle observation deck. There's several other floors, but I figured I didn't want to bore you with a bunch of museum and exhibitions and dark rooms. But it was a lot more of the same artifacts that were saved after the war. Watch your head. And here's the view from the top of Nagoya Castle. And there's all of Nagoya. Here's some of the architecture on the inside. And as you can see, you can buy souvenirs of the golden dolphins I was talking about earlier. And that's the very top of the castle. We'll go check out the main floor real quick, and then we're gonna wrap things up and eat some lunch. So if you look here, this was considered the main area of the castle. Here you're gonna have more samurai artifacts, and once guns are introduced, here's the guns that were introduced to Japan, most likely at the turn of the century. Here's the case of the royalty swords. And if you look at these decks here, originally these were meant to hold the swords in case of intruders. All the samurai can run and grab their swords to defend the castle. The way the ranks worked was the number of retainers would stand around of 6,000 to 7,000, and it varied during each era. Each warrior was guaranteed a stipend, and retainers would receive their own seal from the clan. From there was a hierarchy that was installed. Their military service was established during the Kaini period of 1633 and revised in 1661. Horses were also required on the battlefield, so the number of the retainers' stipend was guaranteed in their provisions. Arms and ammunition, or retainers outside of the ones that were provided to them by the actual military, were provided to them out of their own pocket. Here's what some of the original windows look like. And if we look here, here's what the original samurai armor looked like. And that pretty much wraps up the main area of Nagoya Castle, from the observation deck up to the 5th floor, and then down to the 4th floor to look at some of the historical artifacts. Let's go down the stairs. And we worked down our stairs, the steps here. Here's the iron doors. And that was Nagoya Castle. I hope you enjoyed that clip. Now we're gonna continue a little bit more sightseeing. Mostly we're gonna go have some lunch and finish up my trip here in Nagoya. But either way, it was a lot of fun. A little different from the actual other castles I'm gonna show you because this one was restored after the war. It was a restoration. A lot of the stuff was rebuilt. While in Himeji Castle, when I do take you there, a lot of the parts of Himeji Castle are the original parts, which makes it really amazing. Either way, stay tuned for some lunch. So here is the fried shrimp that I was telling you about with the special miso sauce and some rice. And then also my wife got some of this Nagoya udon noodles, kishi men. It's really flat and it's good to try some. It's really good. So, either way, itadakimasu. That's gonna be one of my last food videos. Stay tuned for the ride home. So the ebi fry is actually really good. It's like a thicker batter than what's in the Kansai area that I'm in. So take a look at there. And no. It's really good. But if you look at the miso soup, it's got a really dark red color, which is what makes the miso soup so famous from this area. So if you come out to Nagoya, definitely try the ebi. Normally, it's funny, I normally say ebi fry, but I guess the Nagoya bang or the dialect out here, they say ebi friai. Either way, next few clips is gonna be my ride home. I hope you enjoyed watching me be a foodie on this trip. So here we are driving back, and here's the mountains on the way out. We're about to get into Shiga Prefecture again, and we only have it's a 3-hour drive. We only have about 2 hours left, but we're almost coming to an end. Oh, coffee. I almost died. We're an hour out, and man did I get sleepy. I think waking up at 3:30 in the morning yesterday and going all day today is catching up to me, but only an hour more, and when I finish my coffee I should be fine. Hopefully the next clip is us getting home. It will be, no worries. So, we finally made it home.
At 6:30.
6:30. Not bad. My coffee was able to make it here okay. Now time to unload the car and let the dogs out. Let's go over here and check this out real quick. Alright, here we go. Ooh, Tenchi Sakura! Ooh, Tenchi! Oh, no! Oh, hey, buddy! Oh. Yeah, this is what he does. Whenever we come back from a long trip, he runs around in circles and barks. Ow! Oh, there you go. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Next week I'll put up the interview, and I really hope you enjoyed watching the trip to Nagoya. Bye, Anna-chan. Say bye, sweetie. Bye bye. Bye. Oh, you're still here? Go. It's done. Check out my YouTube. またね。できたよ。